Hey there, welcome back to Full Blast TV. I am your host Zimmerman, and I would like to take the time to introduce you to our latest analyst Stacey Hancock.
Hey there ladies and gentlemen, I am Stacey Hancock and I will be your analyst this evening, and I'm ready to bring it to you hard and fast, Jack.
In today's episode we put the details on prosecutors using Zimmerman TV interview as evidence. Are you ready? Because here we go.
According to OrlandoSentinel.com, a day following George Zimmerman talking about the murder of Trayvon Martin on television, prosecutors stated they would use the interview as evidence in the second-degree murder case. In addition to that, the move didn't shock Central Florida defense attorneys, who said Zimmerman did himself no favors by consenting to an hour-long interview with Fox News' Sean Hannity on Wednesday night.
Plus, David Faulkner, a former FBI agent and Winter Park defense attorney, stated he thinks Zimmerman should stop talking. Besides that, he claimed he does not think the interview alters anyone's mind, for the reason it just inserts more statements that they're going to have to defend at trial. If you wondering why did he take the risk of going on national TV to tell his story, it's simple. He did for the money, his attorney states.
Zimmerman's attorney Omara informed the Sentinel the defense fund is essentially out of cash, and they can't supply shelter, security, anything rather soon if the expenses and donations continue as they are. Moreover, he designated Hannity as his client's earliest supporter, a voice of reason uttering "let's not dash to judgment." Furthermore, Omar stated he promised Hannity in April that he would get Zimmerman the Neighborhood Watch captain's first interview. Additionally, Omar stated the defense fund is downward to about $30,000 to $50,000. However, there are outstanding bills that would effectively devastate the fund.
Nevertheless, he stated the legal team has not been paid, and the Hannity interview generated only a modest uptick in support. Besides that, as part of the fundraising endeavor, Zimmerman rebooted his website, GeorgeZimmerman.com, and published a statement lamenting his rapidly increasing legal and security expenses. And he wrote to supporters, "We need your help again." In addition to that, he also posted a YouTube video in which he promised recurrent updates to the website.
During the Hannity interview, the 28-year-old Zimmerman rehashed his explanation of the February night he mortally shot 17-year-old Trayvon Martin. Conversely, Zimmerman states Trayvon assaulted him. However, prosecutors state he profiled and pursued the teen.
Plus, Zimmerman apologized to Trayvon's family for the second time. Nonetheless, he also disclosed Hannity that what occurred that night was all God's plan. As a result, critics have pounced on the phrase. And Donna Goerner, a Longwood attorney and former assistant state attorney in Sanford, states Zimmerman's statement probably did not come across the way he had in mind. However, despite that she had a message for him, she stated from her perspective, God sent him a messenger to stay in his vehicle, referring to a police dispatcher who said to Zimmerman not to follow the teen before the shooting. She added, however, he didn't listen.
Nevertheless, Omar defined his client as a God-fearing man. He says, "I've used that phrase on instance when bad things happen to people." Nonetheless, prosecutors and legal commentators have declared the state will try to utilize Zimmerman's statements about the shooting against him by exemplifying inconsistencies in his story. For the reason, on Wednesday, he strayed at least twice from his previous versions of what transpired the night he shot Trayvon.
Besides that, Zimmerman informed Hannity he walked toward Trayvon because he needed to discover a street address for police, yet he informed Sanford police it was because he had forgotten the street's name, something detectives tested him on. In addition to that, Zimmerman says on the night of the shooting that Although he was reporting the team to police, Traven ran away. However, he told Hannity he was more like skipping, going away quickly. Yet he wasn't running out of fear.
Likewise, O'Mara requested that the skipping comment be taken in context. The whimsical image that term brings to mind, O'Mara said, wasn't what his client intended. Furthermore, he called that moment evidence that the interview wasn't planned out. Still, the decision by Zimmerman's defense to allow an interview came as a shock to many in the legal community. Moreover, an Orlando defense lawyer, Lyle Mason, stated the defendant has unambiguous advantages over the state, which is the right to remain silent and let his attorney to speak for him. Likewise, the Hannity interview, Mason stated, was a major failure of both of Zimmerman and his lawyer O'Mara.
Additionally, Mason, who has been analytical of the state's case, states the more times a person tells a story, even if they're telling the outright truth, the more inconsistencies will arise. Moreover, she adds, it's the human condition of storytelling. Equally more important is the interview also seemed to signal a change in strategy. O'Mara has constantly complained that coverage of the case has been unnecessary and declared not to try the case in the media. Plus, he states there is no other interviews are scheduled.
Conversely, Richard Hornsby, an Orlando defense lawyer, states, it's really perplexing what he thought he'd acquire from it. Nevertheless, he questioned who's in control of the defense strategy, whether it's Zimmerman or O'Mara. Interesting enough, an ABC News spokesman stated Barbara Walters had traveled to Central Florida on Wednesday eager for an interview but walked away after Zimmerman made a request that they couldn't and would never agree to. However, O'Mara stated Zimmerman requested ABC to provide secure lodging for his wife for a month, and that was deciding factor to the interview falling apart. Nevertheless, Zimmerman phoned The View on Thursday after hearing Walters chat about her effort to interview him the day earlier. Likewise, Walters recognized the call on air. However, she stated, if you couldn't do the interview yesterday, I don't think we should do a quick one today.
In final recap, George Zimmerman has sealed his fate with that interview with what he said on the Hannity show Wednesday. What puzzled me besides the obvious is why his lawyer would let him come on television and incriminate himself. Lawyers are supposed to keep their clients from stating stupid things in court and to media, and for Zimmerman's sake he needs to look credible in every interview he does from here on in. Case in point, when Zimmerman was asked if there anything he could change about the night he shot and killed Martin, he said no. However, when the show is over he changed his mind, saying I would have tried not to take Traven life, after he said was God's plan and he could not go against it. That right there shows he can't keep his story no matter how sincere he tries to be. Conversely, in regards to ABC not honoring his request is very understandable, because why on earth would they mandate Public Enemy number 1?
After all, that would be a public relation nightmare, and it's just not good for business or their image. In the end, I understand this whole interview was a catalyst for a fundraiser to help Zimmerman and company to raise money. Nonetheless, it has turned into a disaster for him, especially when the prosecutors use this to put the screws to him. If he is convicted, he gonna do some time, and my personal recommendation for him is to stock up on soap on rope for his own protection, if you catch my drift. Well, time to close out.
So do you believe Zimmerman's version of what happened that February night he killed Traven?
Was this interview set up for him to plead insanity to get off? Who do you really think's in charge of George Zimmerman's camp? If or when convicted, what's your best estimate of how long they give George in prison for the second-degree murder? 40 years or 100 years?
Last question. What the umpire of people are supporting Zimmerman Monterali? Well, this ends today's show. I am Charlie and signing off. And be sure to catch the next episode on a Full Blast TV.
Good night, everyone. I am Stacey Hancock signing off. Oh, and don't forget to comment, rate us, and subscribe because your feedback is greatly appreciated.